So let's cover the first one. Enhances your credibility. You have some news coverage on the front page of the Journal Record. How credible is that? Now, we started with a retirement community. What's not real interesting about that? Not much, okay? They're building homes, okay? So what? Everybody's building homes for retirees. We find the trend. If the trend is, in this case, a lot of retirees are staying close to home. They have homes in Florida, they have homes in Colorado, 2 homes. They could live either place, but they're staying close to home. That's the trend. They're staying close to home, and why? So, we pitch a couple who could have moved elsewhere and chose to stay here. We added a couple of home builders who build retirement communities and what the trend is there, and that was from my state association sources. And then from there, we got a pretty nice piece. Now, the story here is, for example, that she says, Linda says in her quote, "We have lived on both coasts where it's very expensive and traffic is horrendous. 2 of our children are in Edmond, and as long as we can get on the airplane, we thought Oklahoma was the best place to stay." So that's her story. So you see, you can also then take that piece, put it on your website, and you've got a credible piece, unbiased piece on your website. It's not puff written by your company. It's done by a news organization. That also enhances your credibility. Next.
Was that done for Oklahoma State Home Builders? Is that what it was?
It was actually done for Touch Market Coffee Creek Retirement Community.
Oh, okay.
This one is a case study, and we're going to play right into the website. Helps readers remember your message longer. You know, how many times do you hear a story or you hear something that somebody's experiencing and you go, that's me. That's exactly what I'm experiencing. Here's a specialized product. This company, it's called IUTA, trains operators, does training in the oil field industry. Okay, very specialized. Their clients are oil field companies. And for example, they're in Mexico training the state government workers to be code certified so that when a new law comes into place, they will be up to snuff to meet that new law, and they'll continue to be able to get business because they're code certified. This particular case study, the story here is, which is under the solutions part, goes like this. Melinda Trainer, who is the operator, who is the owner of the company, identified that Tri-State was over-reporting incidents. Because of this, Tri-State corrected their methods and saved time taken by employees filling out safety data sheets. So, what we've done is we've got a story here. We've got the background, which is the relevant timing, the background on the client, the issue at hand. So these are the parts of a case study, and you can write this just as well as I can. But here are the 4 points of a case study. And then stick it in a PDF, stick it on your website, and you've got, yes, that's me. When they come look at your website, even though it's a referral, every time somebody refers you, don't you know they're going to also go look at your website? And we do that with all kinds of products. It's not just business. So they're going to come see this and they go, yep, that's exactly what I'm dealing with. This is the company I want to contract. So you start with background, then you have the problem or the challenge, which is the issue that led them to you, and other options they had to fix it. They had other companies they could have gone to. Why did they go with you? And then the solution. What were the parameters and cost of your solution if you want to put in the cost? You may not want to quote your prices, but you can. And then what other options did the customer consider? And then finally the outcome. That's down here. Tell it with numbers. Dollar amounts, savings. Numbers will always tell the story better than text. Very easy to do. Stick some pictures on it from the site, and people will remember your message. And then what you can do with this, you can stick this in an e-newsletter, to your clients. You might have a monthly, this is what we're doing. You've got it stuck in a PDF, and here's an example of our services. And from that, they get other ideas. Next. Okay. Third point, creates a buzz about your company. Well, here's one way. Radio. Okay. News radio. Retirement community. This is actually this week. Again, how boring is that? I love my client, but news editors, how boring is a retirement community? Okay. Our big push right now is they're building a memory care. Okay, there's lots of memory cares around. We had a workshop free to the public Wednesday to talk about, as an adult child, what are the issues that come with dementia and Alzheimer's? How do I deal with a family member? Or what are the signs? I'm holding my keys, but I don't know what they're for. That's Alzheimer's. It's not, I've lost my keys, which all of us do. This is Alzheimer's. I'm holding these keys and I don't know what they go to. Those kinds of tips, really good tips for adult children. So what we did with the promoting this workshop, because you get a lot of people into the workshop, it's open to the community, they get some interest level, they might see your construction project, they might sign in and make a deposit. So it's always good to have folks into your business through video or other ways. The visual always helps. But radio is another way. They can hear the report. So we had our Alzheimer's expert in town this week. We put her on KTOK for an interview about what can adult children expect of a possible Alzheimer's mom or dad. It wasn't about, hey, we're opening a memory care. An editor isn't going to go for that. It's going to be helpful for the consumer. That's why I always go back to the consumer. The pollution angle, the scholarship donations, and the case study, which is helpful to you, the businessman, to know what exactly I do as a company and how I help you. We're in business to help others. If the bottom line is money, you know we're going to fail. So we're in business to help others. So here's another way you can do it, is get your message out through the radio. Okay, it was a 5:20 a.m. interview. My goodness, who's going to listen to that? 5:20 a.m. 7 minutes. What did we do with it? We've got the radio interview in a snippet. We've got it on their website, the client's website, which talks all about tips for Alzheimer's. That's how you can use news. You put the print up there, gives you credibility. Put the radio snippet up there, and it gives you a taste through the ear as to what exactly I can expect if I'm thinking about moving my mother or father to this memory care. These people sound really smart. There you go. Next. Okay. It polishes your image. This is a newsletter. Another way of taking, this is a case study for Francis Tuttle. This company's an oil field company, Schlumberger, and they go out and they help other companies. Now, we didn't say Francis Tuttle trained Schlumberger so they could go out and do this training. No, it wasn't all about Francis Tuttle. It was about how Schlumberger, through the services of Francis Tuttle, helped other companies. So here's their story. The story is from the case study. This is somewhat like a case study. These techs are working on millions of dollars in equipment, and if they're in the middle of Siberia, which is the case with Schlumberger, and get a call that equipment isn't working, they can't take along every part or every tool that they have. So it polishes your image. Any kind of communication about what you do as a company demonstrates that you care about your client and care about what they're dealing with. And here Schlumberger was dealing with how to train their folks on, when they're out in the middle of Siberia, what to do in a certain situation. So Francis Tuttle gave them some exercises on how to do that. Next. Okay, another point, sells your ideas. Okay, you're a nonprofit organization or a business organization, and you've got some legislative issues going. Maybe you've got to influence the legislators like the Oklahoma State Home Builders, or in this case, the Oklahoma Burglar and Fire Alarm Association. They're not only a lobby group, but they're also wanting to inform their membership. Their membership pays dues. You're members of all kinds of organizations, trade organizations, but do you really see the results of paying that money every year? Well, in this case, for the Burglar Association, yes, because they send out a newsletter every other month. And it tells about what we're working on the legislative end. But it also has several pages of information like the policymakers, the profile about a policymaker, who's behind that, what is that person like, the people that are making your decisions. They have a board that is a licensing board that has about 8 or 9 people on it. So we're going to profile every time, every newsletter, one of those board members. It gives them a feel of people behind the real people. Also, we're profiling a member each time. Also gives you a feel there. So for that story, the storytelling here